Welcome, everyone, to For My ATL Sports 1 NFL Friday night. Welcome, NFL fans across all media, social media platforms, across all continents, bodies of water, across all states within the United States, hell, anywhere in the galaxy.
Yes.
Welcome to our show tonight. I have two very esteemed guests. First and foremost, Mr. Jordan Burden from Ultegacy. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing well, sir. And also we got my guy, Mr. Debo Vibes, podcast with this dude Tuesday morning and Friday morning.
Absolutely.
And right off, guys, Jordan is my friend. Uh, Unfortunately, Jordan is a Saints fan and an Eagles fan.
Mm.
And Jordan, like me, is a little petty. All right? He's a little petty. So today, he's taking a subtle jab at our Falcons by wearing the number 12 jersey in honor of 28-3. Jordan, it is with love in my heart that I say I hope both of your quarterbacks have hemorrhoids and cannot play the first week.
Absolutely.
So, there you go. Just wanted to let you know that. No, man, how you doing, Jordan? What are we doing tonight, man? Let's take us through our agenda. What are we doing tonight?
Well, we're going to be talking about there was Asante Samuel had some choice of words for Deion Sanders earlier.
Yes, he did.
I didn't read all of the messaging back and forth, but Asante seems to think that he's in high regard as the greatest or one of the greatest corners of all time, and we're gonna debate that.
So is Asante guilty of what a lot of us are, of thinking we are more than what we are? Is that kind of what you're alluding to, Jordan?
Oh yeah. Oh, he's I love it. First, I want to start off by saying Asante is one of my favorite cornerbacks that I've ever watched ever.
Okay.
I loved watching him play, and like even watching, like, I know a lot of current Eagles fans talk about Darius Slay, but there was something about Asante, man. Like I could trust that he could show up and play against whoever. And I love Slay, but in my opinion, Asante was the best Eagles corner that I have watched. So with that being said, I think he's overextending himself. He has a great resume, but I think the whole conversation between him and Deion Sanders is a little outlandish.
Right. So he outkicked his coverage, is what you're saying, where Deion is concerned.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We got to do some housekeeping. Falcon Commander says, "Good football Friday. Go Atlanta Falcons. Rise up, Dirty Birds."
Rise up.
He says, "Glad the weekend is here. Ready to watch plenty of sports and celebrate B-Day." Well, happy birthday to you, Falcon Commander, and I hope it's all that you want it to be and more. We also have Michael in the chat. Michael is saying, "Shouty." Michael, how you doing, man? Hopefully all is well. All right. Well, hey, Jordan, let's go, man. Regale us with your tales of cornerback woe when it comes to Asante. Sorry, Asante, but you're not as good as you thought you were. How about that? All right, sir. Let's go. Let's get to it.
All right. So when doing research, diving a little bit deeper into this, I think a lot of people will bring up Asante's regular season stats and not bring up his postseason stats. His postseason stats are among the greatest of any cornerback ever.
That's what he's harping on. Okay.
That's probably the area where he's really hyping himself up on. He has 58 interceptions, which are the most by a cornerback during that time frame that he played from 2003 to 2013.
Okay.
He has 955 interception yards. Now, this is combined playoffs and regular season.
Okay.
That way it's fair for a lot of players. I think it's very fair to include playoffs because a lot of players play better in the playoffs. Asante had 958 interception yards, which were the most by a cornerback during that time. He also had 10 interception return touchdowns, which were most by a player during that time. And he had 192 pass deflections, which were also the most by a player during that time. There were a lot of Hall of Fame cornerbacks that were playing during that time. During his career, he had 2 Super Bowl wins. He was named to 2 All-Pros, made 4 Pro Bowls, led the league in interceptions twice, led in pass deflections twice. He has the playoff all-time record in interception yards. He has the playoff all-time record in interception touchdowns. He's got the all-time record for playoff pass deflections, and he's tied for the 6th most in playoff history in interceptions. So he has in my opinion, I think he has a Hall of Fame resume, but the Hall of Fame is limiting players, to say the very least. But I will say forget about Deion Sanders, because Deion has everything better than Asante. Obviously, the playoff numbers. The playoff numbers weren't there, but I mean, it's still Deion. Deion was going one-on-one for a very long time against the best receivers of all time. Asante would line up in the slot occasionally, and that would benefit him. That would definitely make him look a lot better when he's lining up in the slot against weaker slot players. So I have a list of 6. I have 6 cornerbacks I want to talk about that I could have ahead of him, or just maybe a debate.
Okay.
The first one.
I'm sorry, Joe. My bad.
Darrelle Revis.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Darrelle Revis during this time had 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros, 23 interceptions, 115 pass deflections. Revis was an island. I loved watching. Revis is my favorite cornerback ever. I don't think it's really a debate. During Revis's time playing, he was the best cornerback in the league. Now, this is Asante's career was 2003 to 2013, and Revis started his career in 2007. So Asante had a jump on him, and they only played in the same league together from 2007 to 2013. So this is during this time. But either way, Revis was pretty much in his prime. He was shutting down guys like Randy Moss, Andre Johnson, Terrell Owens, Calvin Johnson. He's pretty much the only guy that came close to locking down Calvin Johnson in his career. Revis, I think, is clearly better than Asante Samuel during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Champ Bailey, pretty obvious one, especially during their career. During Champ's time in the same league as Asante, he had 9 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros, as part of the 2000s All-Decade team, had 37 interceptions, 138 pass deflections. Champ, especially those couple years, like mid to late 2000s, where, we see some of the stat sheets of him locking down receivers. He had a historic run during that time. And he had a very long career. That's one thing you'll notice about every single one of these players is I'm looking at specifically the time that they played alongside Asante in the same years.
Okay.
He played a lot longer than Asante was in the league or before Asante came in the league. So there are better corners. Next up, Charles Woodson. I love watching Charles. Charles is really cool. He's got a Super Bowl win. He's got Defensive Player of the Year. He's got 4 Pro Bowls, 4 All-Pros. Now this is, again, during the same time as Asante. 2000 All-Decade team, 44 interceptions, 127 pass deflections. These 3 corners were the 3 best corners during that time. I think the rest of the guys, there's 2 other names I'm going to get to that are also in the Hall of Fame, but it's pretty self-explanatory. These are the 3 best corners of that generation. Next up, Rondé Barber. I could bring up his stats in the run game, but I won't. because I think even including his stats in the pass game is incredible in itself. So you can forget about his run defense. He's already a really good in pass defense. 4 Pro Bowls, 3 All Pros, part of the 2000s All Decade team, 29 interceptions, 122 pass deflections, and on top of the run game. So
doesn't he also have the most sacks for a cornerback? He does, doesn't he? Yeah, he has most sacks for the corner. Okay, yeah, that dude. Yeah,
is he? Would you guys argue that he was one of the most complete cornerbacks?
Yes,
because he could do it all. Like, not only could he cover, and I'm not calling any names, but there are some cornerbacks who have been accused of being able to play no hitters in 2 sports. I'm not calling any names. But Rondé, he could hit, he could tackle, he could come up and attack the run game, and he could take away the pass. He was a total, and he could rush the passer. He was, to me, I cannot think of a more complete cornerback. Jordan, Debo, can you guys think of somebody that could, I mean, from a total game perspective, that was better?
I mean, as far as like a total complete corner, as far as things that he could that Rondé did, I can't. I know. I echo that sentiment. I got one guy who might be there, but I'm talking about him later on towards once Jordan's done breaking down his list. Cause I got a list myself, but overall, man, he was part of that defense. The defense that won a Super Bowl and like overall great corner. And the main thing about him, he showed up on big when it was time to show up. He showed up.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, I remember that pick 6 he did against the Eagles in that NFC Championship game. You know what I mean? So there was times where he really showed up. But to answer your question, T-Will, being an overall corner, physicality, scheme, coverage, all that, I can't think on the top of my head of a better corner in key situations who I would, you know what I'm saying, what more on there to do the thing other than Rondé Barber. And very underrated too, bro, in my opinion. Extremely underrated cornerback. But yeah, that's a good question, bro. But yeah, Rondé was that dude, man.
Jordan?
Oh yeah, I completely agree with you. I think maybe 2 corners I think in league history I can even think of that were great just all around. And I mean, you look at transitioning from corner to safety, what Rondé did, it extended his career just a couple of years. But I mean, he was able to do that with ease. He was playing at a Pro Bowl level at safety. But I would say Night Train Lane. That's my. With Dion and Night Train Lane, I always kind of have them 1A, 1B. Those are my top 2 corners of all time. Mm-hmm. And if someone says Dion, I won't argue. If someone says Night Train Lane, I won't argue. I think Night Train Lane was probably the most complete corner because, I mean, he was able to tackle like a linebacker, and he was able to, I mean, statistically one of the best coverage corners ever. So I would say Night Train Lane, and then another one, Mel Blount. I mean, Mel Blount's physicality was something that people talked about, and then
he's actually on my list. He's actually on my list, Jordan.
Oh yeah,
Mel Blount all day. Mm-hmm.
His physicality was like they changed the rules because of how physical he was, and then he adapted to that so quickly that he was playing even better in man-to-man coverage against receivers because of this rule. So I would say probably those 2.
Let me ask you a question right quick, Jordan, before you proceed, because it just popped in my head as we're talking about these great cornerbacks, man. And you made a good point about Rondé's transitioning from corner to safety. And I guess my question to both of you guys, man, who would be on your list as making that best transition and still performing at a high level when you transition from cornerback to safety? Because the main one I think about as far as transitioning from corner to safety was Rod Woodson when he was playing corner for the Steelers and then transitioning to safety for that unbelievable great defense of the Ravens back in 2000. Man, that's the first dude I thought about. Rod Woodson was that dude. He was Dion for Dion, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, but I ask you guys, like, do you think who comes out on top of your head as being one of the best guys who transition from corner to safety and still perform at a relatively high level? Mine is Rod Woodson.
Yeah, A1 is thinking what I'm thinking. I would say Rod Woodson as well as Charles Woodson. Because Charles Woodson was a dominant force for a long time. And then he went to safety and, dominated again. So I would say, yeah, both of them. Definitely Rondé did well. Did Champ Bailey do the same thing or no? Did Champ Bailey transition to safety when he got older or no?
They tried to. Like, I think New Orleans tried to, but it didn't work out.
It didn't work out? Okay. Yeah. I would agree with that sentiment though, Debo. Jordan, your thoughts on that? Transition, that's one.
Both the guys you named were the first two I thought about. Rod Woodson is the first guy I think about having that transition, and then next is Charles Woodson. Both of them it was an almost seamless transition. I think with Rod, I kind of put as a higher standard because, I mean, he could line up at free safety and strong safety. He could play the entire secondary if he wanted to. And maybe if he was a little better in run stopping, I would have said him in that debate with like the best all-around corner. But, he was the most versatile corner, I would probably say, of all time, because he could play every single position you wanted him to. So, yeah, those two were the first names that I thought about.
All right. Well, you guys have inspired me now. So I got one more question for you. It's fourth down. Well, you're not going to care, Jordan. But Debo, the Falcons are playing. It's the Super Bowl. Who is the one safety that you do not want to see 4th and 1? The one safety. I know who I'm thinking about. Anybody that ever played, you can pick. Who is the the one safety that you don't want to see?
Steve Atwater.
Okay, so for me, it's Troy Polamalu.
Okay.
Because Troy could do it all. Troy could defend the pass. Troy could defend the run, and Troy specialized in fourth down, blowing up plays. Right? There's literally an interview where they're talking to who is it? T-Sizzle with the Ravens, and they're playing Pittsburgh. And he's arguing he's like, man, it's 4th down, and you see Troy Polamalu coming up. What are you doing? You got to get out of that play. What happened was Troy Polamalu came through the line, blew up the play, stopped him on 4th down, was phenomenal at that. Now, and the chat has some great answers. Michael says John Lynch. Absolutely.
Ooh, okay.
A1 Forever says Ronnie Lott or Atwater. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't want to see any of those guys in a dark alley. And if I met Ronnie Lott today and he was like, give me your wallet, here you go, Ron. I'm not arguing. This dude cut his own finger off. I'm not arguing with him. You got it, bro. You got it. It's yours. You got it.
Good point.
Michael says B-Dog. I got no issue with that. But for me, I literally saw Troy Polamalu own that field. Okay? 4th down. And guys, you guys play football. There's always that guy that when he hits you that first time, you're like, okay, I want to know where he is the rest of the game. I'm
totally, bro. Yeah,
I'm gonna know where he is the rest of the game. Just phenomenal. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Anyway, Jordan, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just a thought I had. Oh, Sean Taylor, good one, Mike. Good one. And Ed Reed,
excellent one.
Ed Reed was great, but to me, Ed Reed was better at diagnosing the pass. For me, the total, and Ed Reed's first ballot Hall of Famer. Everybody that you guys mentioned, Hall of Famers. But for me, watching Troy as long as I did, there was nothing Troy could not do. Troy could start from one end of the field and blitz you and get your quarterback on the other side. There was nothing he couldn't do, right? So just my thoughts. Anyway, Jordan, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, I was actually thinking of all of the safeties, and I would say there was 5 safeties, which we named them all, up into Sean Taylor. I mean, I was thinking about Ronnie Lott, Troy Polamalu. Troy Polamalu was the first name that came to mind, and Steve Atwater. Both those two, the
Yep.
two that you guys named. Then Ronnie Lott, then Brian Dawkins, then Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor's my
Good
favorite
list.
safety ever. And that's coming from an Eagles fan. I will tell people Sean Taylor is my favorite safety. I have a framed photo of the Pro Bowl ticket where Sean Taylor nailed Brian Moorman.
Yeah, he lit up on her.
Oh yeah. But yeah, those safeties. Yeah,
That's up, man.
I don't want to face any of them.
Right.
Oh boy, that's old school right there, man. That's old school.
But then there's one. All right, there's one other corner that I know was better than Asante Samuel during that time, and this was during the tail end of his career. But Ty Law. I mean, they played on the same team. Ty Law was facing the ones. I would Ty Law had 2 Super Bowls, 2 Pro Bowls during that time, 1 All Pro, 2000s All Decade team, 29 interceptions, 75 pass deflections. Again, the tail end of his career, but I still think it was better than Asante's career during that time.
No, I totally agree with that, Jordan. And the Ty Law was he's one of my guys on my list too. Because when you look at what Ty Law did and big play moments, particularly against one Peyton Manning in the playoffs, constantly getting Peyton Manning. So this man was constantly doing his thing on a big time, on a huge stage, on a huge stages, and getting it done, man. So like Ty Law, he was always that dude. He was what I call a closer. He was a closer, and whenever something needed to happen, I don't know who was more closer for the Patriots, Vinatieri or Ty Law, because they both always close the deal somehow for the Patriots, man. So good call on that one, Ty Law all day.
And there's one more name, which I kind of wanted to leave it up for a debate because during at his peak, he was the best defensive player in the whole league. And during the end of his career is kind of what overshadows just how great he was. And he was a former teammate of Asante. I have his jersey, Namni Asamoah. 3 Pro Bowls, 4 All Pros, 15 interceptions, 79 pass deflections. At his peak, he was special. I mean, he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Right.
It's just scheme. He went to Philly, and it really didn't work out. He just didn't fit the scheme at all. So
I think Najee going to the Eagles was one of the nobody can ever predict what's going to happen, but it's a what if question, bro. What if Najee stayed with the Raiders? Just what if? Because like you said, you look at all the things he was doing there. I know he went, to the Eagles, and Vince Young said, "Oh yeah, we're a dream team now." Then nothing happened, nothing developed out of it. But Najee Asamoah, man, that's a good call because you looked at all the things he was doing, and when you say lockdown corner, he was that dude. He was that dude, man. And then he went to the Philadelphia, and unfortunately, this didn't translate. So, yeah, that's one of the moves right there that you say to yourself, "What if?" And you wish it didn't happen. But Najee Asamoah going to the Eagles is one of the big what if question. Like, what if he just stayed with the Raiders? And what could he get done? First ballot Hall of Famer. His trajectory was first ballot Hall of Famer, but such is life, so to speak.
Yeah, if ever there was a cautionary tale in regards to schemes, it's Nnamdi because he fell off a cliff. And look, it just goes to show that sometimes a scheme can help. Right? There are a lot of people that look at Brock Purdy and they say that if it wasn't for Kyle Shanahan's scheme, if you put him in somebody else's scheme, he might not even make the field. Right? And I'm not one of those people, but I have heard people say, hey, the scheme works for him. So my question to you, Jordan, I know the answer, but I'm asking you, if you're a true Hall of Famer, should it matter the scheme you're in?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can name you one player, which I mean, his whole career is kind of defined by the scheme, and we all think that he was, I mean, arguably the greatest player of all time. I'm going to say his name, and Joe Montana. I mean, what he and Bill Walsh did together was beautiful. Bill Walsh brought this scheme, and Montana did it perfectly. And but Montana is, I mean, technically a schemed quarterback, but he did it so perfectly that it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, he won 4 Super Bowls, didn't lose any. So, and a lot of quarterbacks are like that. I like a lot of people think Tom Brady is one of them. I I never I never thought that. I mean, Belichick's always been the defensive mind, and Brady's been on the offense. Yes, did Matt Castle thrive in that with that team? Yeah, because they were coming off the perfect season. They had Randy Moss, Wes Welker, like they still had the leftovers of that team. So any quarterback probably would have done well with that team. And then there was some success with Garoppolo, which, I mean, Garoppolo still found success in San Francisco. So like, I don't think Brady was a scheme quarterback, but there's a lot of players throughout league history that have been in one scheme and they found success, and yeah, they should be Hall of Famers.
Okay. All right, man. Well, let's go. Let's get to it. So ultimately, what's your determination with these corners? Like, who is the best of the best of the best? And just give me your thoughts on it.
I mean, all time, or of the ones that we listed?
Of the ones that we listed.
Revis. I think. I mean, Revis showed that stats don't mean anything. Like he proved that he's just gonna lock you down. He don't care about getting the interception. He cares about making sure that you don't get the ball either. He was just one of those guys, and I loved watching Champ Bailey. I think Champ Bailey and Charles both have a debate for that position too. But for me, it was Revis.
Okay, that's fair. What was Revis? Is there any way we can look up his record against T.O.?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because you'd have to look. T.O.'s played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and that'd be kind of hard. On top of that, that'd be kind of hard because they play in different conferences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes Revis would line up I mean, there might be some plays where T.O. might line up in the slot for like one play, or Revis might line up in the slot for one play. So we don't know.
Yeah, for me, other than Jerry Rice, and no disrespect to Randy, I like Randy, but there were certain routes Randy just wasn't going to run, and if he did, sometimes there'd be alligator arms. Like, Randy ain't going up. You know what I mean? Randy ain't doing that. T.O., however, would. And my experience with T.O. is that if you're big enough to cover him, you're probably not fast enough. And if you're fast enough to cover him, you're probably not big enough. And I would just love to see every cornerback that you brought up, their record against him, because he was the one that there was a period of time he was just unstoppable. You weren't going to stop him. You could put 3 guys on him. You weren't going to stop him. So I'd love to see, and you know what? Maybe next time that's a show we can do, Jordan. But I'd love to see the best versus the best, and their records, right?
And when you bring up T.O., the first thing I thought about when you said that, T-Wil, 2005 season opener, week 1 Monday Night Football, Eagles at the Falcons, and who shut down T.O.? D'Angelo Hall. I know it was just one game, but D'Angelo Hall had a game of his life that game, and it was up against T.O. So yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying though about T.O. being the beast, but when you think about certain cornerbacks a cornerback can have a great game at any given moment, and that's conversely speaking, he can have a horrible game at any given moment. Hell, Dion had horrible games. There's one time against the Bears, goddamn Tom Waddle burned him twice for a touchdown. Tom Waddle. You know what I mean? So but it happens though, man. But the first thing you thought about, I thought about when you said T-Wil was that game that D'Angelo Hall had against them at the old Dome back in 2005, man.
And that was 2000. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out, man. I'm going. Hey, shoot that to me at the end of the show because I'm gonna have to check that out tomorrow.
Right.
I don't recall that, but I mean, I have to check it out. We'll see. So. I don't know. Jordan, we were talking about the UFL. I know that they're getting ready to start pretty quickly here. Can you talk to that, speak to that? Let's get into it.
Yeah, so all right, I'm gonna give a quick rundown on the United Football League. So the United Football League was the XFL from 2020, and the United States Football League. United States Football League obviously did great in the 80s. Some things happened. They tried to compete with the NFL, didn't work out. They came back as well. I knew it was only a matter of time. If you go back to watch my videos of all of the last United Football League season, I was talking about how it's only a matter of time before they just announce a merger. And they did. They went with the United Football League. Sucks the Philadelphia Stars aren't a team anymore, but I'm hoping that we can come back. Because I was heavily involved with the United Football League up until the point that they said the Stars weren't coming back, and the Stars were one of the best teams during the original United States Football League. But I mean, you see both the jerseys I have here. You got a Sean Landetta who played on the Michigan Panthers in the United States Football League in the '80s. This is an autographed jersey, and then my PJ Walker Houston Roughnecks jersey. PJ Walker is, he's a backup in the NFL, but he's on the exit.
Hey, Jordan, I was a big, believe it or not, I was a huge, I think it was before they had shut everything down because of COVID. I was a big time Houston Roughnecks fan, man. Because I mean, that year they started out like 3-0 or 4-0. I'm a big time spring football guy, to be honest with you. And I know that may sound lame, like, I remember the World League. I can rattle off all the World League teams right now if I wanted. London Monarchs, Orlando Thunder, you know what I'm saying, San Antonio Riders, the Sacramento Surf, all them boys, you know what I mean? So there's something so authentic about spring football, because spring football, you got guys who want to make it to the next level, but at the same time they're playing a game that they love to play, and they play with aggression. And so I love spring football, man. I'm very excited about the UFL. I know it sounds lame. I can watch spring football all day because you got a lot of guys who are getting paid less than nothing, not nothing at all sometimes, and they're playing for the passion, man. So, but I didn't mean to cut you off, man. But you brought the Roughnecks. I'm like, man, and that PJ Walker jersey behind you, yeah, man. Houston was that squad, man.
Yeah, I loved watching PJ when he was at Temple, and just seeing him. He was so good. I mean, he might be the best spring player during this like new generation of spring leagues. Like I remember when the Alliance of American Football started, that started off great, but they couldn't financially afford anything. There was some crazy hits. They needed to be a little more professional, and that's where surprisingly the XFL became the more professional league. Right. But I loved what both leagues were doing. The XFL was more about innovation. The United States Football League was more about keeping the current style of football. And I love seeing both these leagues thrive now that they're merged. I will say, I am a firm believer that the United Football League, watching this spring league, it's just better football than NFL preseason. With NFL preseason, like you get to a point in like the end of the second quarter or third quarter where it's stale football. I mean, we're going to get to a point now that we might see 1 week of the preseason eventually. If we go to an 18 game schedule, yeah, we might have one preseason game. Honestly, no point at that. Like a lot of the guys that are playing there are either they know they made the squad or they're trying to make the squad, but because other guys aren't trying hard enough, they can't reach their full potential. And with the United Football League, all these guys are trying to be the best player they can so they can make the NFL. I mean,
Right.
you look at what Cavante Turpin did.
Yeah.
He went to the NFL and now he's an All-Pro returner. Look at
Mhm.
Brandon Aubrey. Now Brandon Aubrey's the best kicker in the NFL. I have no
Yeah.
doubt saying that. And he started his career in there. So, and another guy which I think should get an opportunity somewhere, Jake. He does. He did. Jake Bates. I've been talking about Jake Bates for a while, and now he's the Lions kicker and had a great year. But yeah, one guy who played in
he kicked the game winner against the Texans, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah.
Jake Bates, and I remember watching his game for the Michigan Panthers where he kicked a game-winning 63 or 64-yard field goal. I mean, that was incredible. There's one name that we haven't heard from in a while. He was the Philadelphia Stars kicker during our very bad year. Luis Aguilar, a guy that nobody's probably going to remember, but I remember he scored the most points by a kicker in any professional football league game ever.
Damn.
I don't remember. He tied Rob Baronis's record, I think, or he broke Rob Baronis's record for most field goals in a game, and he kicked the game-winning field goal on top of that. So Stars scored all the points from him in that game, and he goes and kicks the game winner. So, that's one guy that I feel like is forgotten about. There's one name that I think I'm looking at when it comes to this coming season. I don't know if you guys remember TCU's squad a couple years ago that made the national championship.
I definitely remember them before they got blown out by Georgia. Of course I do.
Yep.
Before they took that massive beat down by those dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Debo, can you remember a beat down more severe than that in recent history? I can't. I mean, not that this is a Bulldog podcast. No. Go dog!
And on top of that, T-Will. Let's remember they slowed the brakes down. They actually slowed down. They go blow them by 80 points.
I don't think I've seen a beat down like that in recent
unbelievable epic beat down, sir. Epic beat down.
Go Dogs. Jordan, I did not mean to cut you off.
Sorry, Jordan. Continue, Jordan. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that.
I did not.
Hey, Jordan, you brought him up.
You did. You did. Go Dogs. Go ahead, Jordan. I'm sorry.
The quarterback for that TCU team was Max Dugan. He was one of my favorite quarterback prospects coming into the league, but a lot of teams were really shying away from him. I didn't really see a lot of reasons why, but he's currently the co-starter for the St. Louis Battlehawks. I'm really excited for them. So a quick little
Max Dugan? Yes. Wow. I follow good players in college, man. He's one of them. I'm that's be interesting to see how he does there, bro. I had no idea, man.
And it's the most interesting thing is the whole AJ McCarron situation. So you guys, I don't know if you guys remember AJ McCarron, Alabama quarterback, won a couple national championships, went to the Bengals, was backup. He went to the
That's the last time.
Go ahead, Jordan.
So AJ McCarron, his first year in the XFL at the time with the St. Louis Battlehawks was playing unbelievable. I mean, he's probably statistically the best quarterback of the last 5 years in spring football. But there was some issues at the end of last season, and I heard there was some friction between a lot of players and coaches with AJ McCarron. I'm not going to speculate on whether AJ McCarron's a good guy or not. I just heard that there was some bad blood, and they ended up letting him go. And they posted on social media, almost posting like he's going to retire, but he has no plans to retire whatsoever. And I think he probably would go to another team, but his livelihood was with the St. Louis fans. So there was definitely conflict. And then two other stories. Reggie Barlow, the head coach of the DC Defenders. Now, put this in perspective: DC Defenders have been really good since the XFL started. They have probably the best them and the St. Louis Battlehawks have two of the best fan bases in the whole league.
Right. Well, I remember in St. Louis, they always sell their games out, man. And
Yeah.
I think it's because they lost the Rams. They had to pretty much missing any kind of pro football. But awesome fan base though, man. St. Louis got an awesome fan base.
Oh yeah. And I mean, when I went to St. Louis a couple years ago, I was like, how does this team not have a pro football team?
Right.
I'm really happy for the Battlehawks. I mean, if I was gonna, I don't really have a favorite team right now since the Stars left, because I think the Stars are gonna come back in a couple years. But I'm probably rooting for the Battlehawks. I mean, I love their team. They got a really cool name. But yeah, they have a great fan base. But the DC Defenders, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the beer snakes. They're well known for their beer snakes. They go from the bottom of the stadium to the top of the stadium.
Oh wow.
The Defenders have had a really good team the entire run of the XFL, and Reggie Barlow is the leader of that team. He left for Tennessee State, which is technically a Division I football team.
It is, yeah.
He's going to be their head coach. So he left last week. The first game starts in 9 minutes. So
the season starts tonight. Yeah.
Oh wow, does it now? Okay.
Yeah, season starts tonight. Yeah, doubleheader, I think.
Yes, I think it's on ESPN. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But it sucks. They lost a great head coach, and you know it's one of those things that you, as a Defenders fan, you really shouldn't be too mad about it, because this league is a league of opportunity. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, for everybody, the coaches and the players. So if you see one of your coaches or players have a chance of a lifetime, you got to root for them.
Right.
And on the flip side, the Memphis Showboats, which were already one of the worst teams in the United Football League, they had Ken Wisenhunt as their head coach. Now, Ken Wisenhunt took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl against the Steelers and lost. Ken Wisenhunt was a really good coach and really good coordinator for a very long time. He was their head coach, and he stepped away due to personal reasons. Just on Monday or Tuesday, he stepped away, which is crazy. I mean, it's different with like Barlow. He's getting an opportunity, but Wisenhunt just leaving. I have told a couple people some things that I think maybe there could be an issue in the United Football League, and these coaches are kind of backing out now. Or it's just possible that it's just timing, that these coaches wanted to just move on. My last thoughts here, the United Football League was contemplating on a strike with the players, but I heard a report about an hour ago saying that they're not going to plan a strike at the moment because they need a new players agreement. So they're probably looking for that, probably going into next year. I mean, hopefully not midway through this season. But I'm really hoping. I love this league so much. I love what it stands for. I think there's a huge possibility for it in 5 years from now, having more talented players come onto teams to be very successful. And I know I said that was my last thought. This is my last thought. The Birmingham Stallions, they have yet to lose a championship.
Damn.
That's so since they came back, they have not lost. They went from winning the United States Football League 2 times in a row. Then they merged, and then they won the United Football League championship.
Last year, they only lost like 1 game last year, right?
Yep. Yeah. My assumption is they are definitely the favorites, and they're coming back with their former United Football League MVP quarterback Alex Magoo. Alex Magoo went and was a practice squad quarterback for the Packers. I think he's very talented. I think he could compete for a starting job in the NFL somewhere, but it depends on the scheme. But right now, the Stallions, it's their league to dominate. It's very reminiscent of the Cleveland Browns in the All-American Football Conference in the 1940s.
Got you. Interesting. I like I said, I know I'm in the minority as far as truly enjoying spring football and enjoying what you just said, man. It's really made my day because I love spring football. I love the UFL. I'm in the minority, but ever since the World League days, and I can even say arena football days. Anytime I can have a chance to sit down and watch football, I'm gonna watch it. But whenever it happens in springtime, something about springtime, renewal, all that, and you're seeing guys out there, what I'm saying, going off and doing their thing, trying to make it to the next level and just enjoying what they love to do, which is playing football. How can you not like that? But it's very, I mean, it's all about novelties. It's very, intimate, it's an intimate league, it's an intimate setting as far as spring football. They don't sell out. They don't get, well, the majority, other than DC and St. Louis, the crowd sizes sometimes can be a little sparse, but other than that, man, you can't knock on it, in my opinion. So
no, you can. I love spring football as well. I love football anytime. I just love to watch people hit each other, man. It's, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, football is about knocking the shit out of the next guy in front of you. And I can watch that any time of day, man. I can watch that any time of year. I love it. I do wonder, however, right? You said that, who was it? What's his name? AJ McCarron. Do you think he was trying to get his Nick Saban on? You think he was trying to, because and I bring that up to say that Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are friends. I would say they're friends, right? Extreme disciplinarians, system wise. Now I would say that Nick's disciples, i.e. Kirby, and I think a few others, have had more success than Bill's disciples, right? But ultimately, my point, and the reason I bring it up, is that if you're going to be a head coach, it has to be you. It can't be like if Jordan's our coach, right? Let's say we work for Jordan, or hell, let's say Jordan, you and I work for Debo, and Debo's a freaking stud, right? Debo wins 3 Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
And Debo's famous for chewing guys out and getting in guys' asses. If that's not me or you, Jordan, that's not going to work when we go to our respective teams. That's just not going to work. You have to be yourself. We can't be Debo light. We can't be Debo the sequel. We got to be ourselves. And I'm wondering if, and I don't know, like you said, there were some issues, but usually when you see that, it's because a guy is trying to be something that he's not, right? Like, who's the guy that I hate for New England? Oh, there's a lot of guys I hate for New England. Oh, wait, I get it. Golly, defensive coordinator. I hate this guy. I hate him.
Matt Patricia?
Yeah, he just walks in the rooms and plants die. I hate this guy.
Damn.
But I do. I do. You know what? Matt Patricia, if I were a bartender, I would serve him warm beer. Just saying.
Oh, damn.
I do not like him. I don't. Because he did something that was stupid. And Jordan, you shouldn't like him either because he's the reason your Eagles quit the year before last. Like,
we shouldn't even have had him on the team.
Exactly. So let me tell you about this guy. He used to be the head coach for Detroit. First thing he does when he gets there, right? In an effort to humble Darius Slay and make him better, right? He says to him, well, Darius, you're not as good as you think you are. Ha, 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 ha. And this offends the shit out of Darius, okay? Because here's the thing. And, maybe dumbass should think about this. As a cornerback, the most important thing you have is confidence, right? That's that. Like, you gotta be able to get burnt like toast and come back the next play and be like, it's okay, right? You have to be confident. Why would you go to the best player on your team and say you're not as good as you think you are? Because you're an ass kisser and you're trying to imitate Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has 7 Super Bowls, 8 rings, 2 as a D coordinator, 6 as a Super Bowl. You could argue 2 he cheated, but whatever. I'm not, whatever. That's another conversation. Bottom line is, Bill Belichick has the credo. He has the managerial brio. He has the chutzpah, the je ne sais quoi, the ability to walk up to anybody and be like, God damn it, I'm Bill Belichick. And you can be better, and here's why. Now you shut the hell up, sit down and take notes. And what are you going to do? He's Bill Belichick. Matt Patricia, you ain't done shit. You've done nothing but carry Bill's water. Who the hell are you to say that? And he rubs people the wrong way. And I just don't like him. I just don't like him, right? And what's my point? I had a point. I'm tired.
Yeah, that's right. What's your point, bro?
I'm trying to
AJ McCarron. AJ McCarron.
I'm trying to find it because we were up till like 2:30 last night, and it's really getting me. And this interview at 8:30 is going to be so much fun because I'm sleepy as hell and I have no energy. And I had 2 heart attacks about 5 months ago, so I can't drink Red Bull. And oh my God! All right. So anyway,
drink a Mountain Dew.
Can I real briefly going back to the top before we leave? I know we got to leave in a second, man. I did write down a list of corners, and in my opinion, I want you guys' opinion on it.
Right.
These are my top 5 corners of all time right here. Number 5, I got Mel Blount, Steel Curtain defense. Mel Blount, 57 interceptions. Okay. Number 4 is this dude. He's my personal favorite because I watched him so much as a kid, and I developed my game after his when I did play football. And he finally got in the Hall of Fame. Is Eric Allen. Eric Allen, a cornerback. He played started with the Eagles, finished with the Raiders. 1993, 4 touchdowns. He was that dude. He was that shutdown corner in my opinion.
He was.
So yeah. Number 3, of course, I got to go with Darryl Green. Darryl Green, he's one of my favorite corners of all time as well. Longevity as well. 54 interceptions.
Could hawk anybody down.
Yeah, he was the only man ever to run down Tony Dorsett and Eric Dickerson in the same year.
Yeah.
That should tell you something right there, man.
Anybody down.
Yeah, number 2, we just talked him a little bit. My number 2 all-time favorite corner, Ty Law. That's my number 2 corner right there. He showed up for big games. He was that dude, and when he made a difference. He was the one guy on that defense made that. Of course, you have Willie McGinnis and other guys, but he was that one dude who sincerely made that difference, man. And it showed in big time moments. He showed up as many times that as they played the Colts in AFC Championship games. He was that one guy that could always do his thing and was always against Peyton Manning. So he, Ty Law. And number 1, of course, Deion Sanders, the great Deion Sanders, man. And it's not. And when I look at Deion, it's easy for you anybody to look at the punt returns, the kickoff returns, everything. When the man shuts down a full half of a field, that should tell you something. An entire side, not a third, an entire half. Yeah, that should let right there let you know. And I understand what Santi Samuel's saying. I understand that. But I think what that made Deion so great also is that Deion didn't play for great defenses initially. He did until he went to San Fran back in '94, and that changed everything. But you look at his first 5 years in the league, he didn't play for no great defenses here in Atlanta. Whereas you got Santi Samuel, he played with some pretty decent defenses.
He did.
So you got to look at that. That's how I look at it. Who were the guys that you played with? If the guys that you played with were great, automatically you're going to benefit. If the guys you play with average, you're going to have put in way more work. And Deion made it look so easy, man. And look at the guys he D'd up, man. Look at the guys Deion D'd up. Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice. You know what I'm saying? Guys like that. You know what I'm talking about? So, that's why I think Deion is, I see what Sonny Samuel's saying, but until you get somebody who can actually do that, who I think we'll never see ever again, how can you not be a great? And Asante Samuel, I think, is just sour grapes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's better than Deion because you can't measure a negative. right? So
Right.
understand, to those of you who are young and did not see Dion play in his heyday, you're talking about somebody making all these interceptions being thrown at probably 20% of the time. Like when Dion really got going, they didn't throw to Dion's side. They just didn't throw
At all. No.
I'm gonna throw this away because mama, there go that man again. I'm not doing that, right? So all of the interceptions, especially when Asante was talking about, well, you only had 7 per year, they only threw at you 20% of the game. And in that 20%, it's like Barry Bonds, right? Chipper Jones made this argument. It's like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, in my humble opinion, and you can say what you will, Barry Bonds is the best player that I've seen play because in most at bats, he only got 1 pitch to hit. One. They're going to throw him junk the first couple of pitches, throw him some strikes that he couldn't get to. He was going to get 1 pitch, and he did his damage with that 1 pitch, right? Most difficult thing to do in sports is to hit a baseball because you have to decide in 0.3 seconds. Is it a curveball, changeup, splitter, whatever? Does it have a wrinkle? Is it a fastball? And you got to put bat to ball, hand-eye coordination. Barry Bonds was best in the world at that. As far as I'm concerned, when you are only thrown at 2 out of 10 times and you do all of the damage that Dion did, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. You're GOAT. Hands down. Anybody feel any differently? Chad? Jordan?
I mean, I agree, and I think that's what made like Darrelle Revis so good is like after Dion. I mean, since Dion retired, I'd say Revis has pretty much done what Dion did. The difference is, and the reason why Dion's on another level is Revis shut down the field, but he wasn't focused on the ball. He was only focused on the guy in front of him. Right. And you know what? That made Revis a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. But with Dion, he was able to do that and get the ball. And that's why he's arguably the greatest defensive player of all time.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Good deal.
Totally agree.
Guys, this has been fun. I appreciate it. Normally, I would try and extend this, but I got an interview I got to do at 8:30, and I got to get ready for that. And I got to get some sort of caffeine. So, Debo, Jordan, thank you for joining me. Debo, we do this every Friday night.
Absolutely. Okay.
So, you know how I feel about you, man. Anytime you want to hop on, you can. To be honest with you, Jordan, next week I'd like to get into some safeties. I'd love to get into some safeties.
I would love that talk, man. Yeah.
I love safeties.
You know, because, we got the ball hawk and Ed Reed. We got Troy Polamalu. We got a little fire plug named Bob. What was Bob's name? Played for the Colts. Bob
Sanders. Bob Sanders.
Couldn't stay healthy, but that dude was phenomenal, man. That dude was, if he could have stayed healthy, man, he could have made some noise. But anyway, guys, gentlemen.
I can say the same thing about Jason Sehorn, too.
Amen. Yeah.
If he stayed healthy, I mean, he kept turning. It always his injuries always happen in preseason. But Jason Sehorn, he was that dude who could be, in my opinion, could have when he was on his way to being Giants great. Just didn't have it.
Well, I'll tell you what, come back and join us next week, Debo. We'll get into it.
I love
Jordan,
you, man.
I cannot thank you enough, brother. Debo, Jordan, tell us where they can find you.
Find me at Ultegacy, Ultegacy. In between these live streams, maybe check out the United Football League. You never know. You might like some players.
I'm Jordan. It's good to see somebody as like-minded as I am, because we are in the minority of somebody who likes spring football. I'm a big time spring football fan, so I definitely look forward to any kind of conversation we have about the UFL, bro.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
As T-Wil laughs at us at our expense.
I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing because, God damn it, I love spring football, but I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't have the stones to admit it. Like I guess I
totally admit it, bro. I totally admit it. Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? I just think it's cool. You guys are like, yeah, we like spring football. Yeah, okay.
Think about it like this. Think about it like this, T-Will. Look at the greatness that happened in spring football or second tier or minor league footballs. I'm about to rattle off some names: Jim Kelly, Herschel Walker,
Steve Young.
Steve Young, Reggie
Mm-hmm.
White.
Mm-hmm.
These are
I
all
did not
names
know
started.
Reggie
Yeah.
started in the. I did
He
not know
started with the
Reggie.
Showboats. Yeah,
I did not know that.
he started with the Showboats.
You know what? That is another show. And I know Jordan probably has a damn spreadsheet on this shit already.
Yes,
But
I do.
okay. So yeah. So look, that's 2 shows in a row that you would definitely be interested in, Debo. So come back and join us Friday. Look, next Friday we'll get into safeties, and the Friday after that we can get into some players that started in the USFL. Didn't Warren Moon also start in the USFL?
He started CFL.
He's a Hall of
CFL.
Famer.
Yeah.
Is the
He's one of the
CFL
greatest.
is the CFL still active
Oh,
or no?
absolutely. Yeah. Canadian Football
yeah.
League. Absolutely.
Over
Yeah.
100 Grey
Yeah.
Cups already.
Yeah.
Grey Cups are like
I can rattle some names off. Yeah. Rocket Ishmael started with Argonauts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. It's like that.
I also have a spreadsheet which converts NFL stats to United Football League stats. So
Of course you do, Jordan. Of course.
Hey, Jordan, you just went way over my head with that one, bro.
Hey, let me tell you something. You guys are genius, okay?
Clearly.
This guy's a freaking. If I find out tomorrow that Jordan discovered a way to teleport, that shit would not surprise me at all. Okay? Right. God damn it, he's smart. I'm sorry, Jordan. Go ahead. Say what you were gonna say.
No, I mean, I when I was doing my spreadsheet, like converting like at different eras for players, I was like, I could do this same exact formula for like the United States Football League in the 80s to the NFL in the 80s and then to the NFL now. So it's very easy when you have the formula to start. I mean, the world is your oyster or whatever the saying is.
That's what's up, man. Hey, let me tell you something. Jordan is a smart dude. That's all I'm gonna say, Debo. He is a smart MFer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He roots for the Saints and Eagles, and he's wearing a Patriots jersey right now. Other than that, yeah, he's real smart.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, Debo, I get. Hey, we all have our faults, bro. We all have our faults.
As you guys found out last night, I have OCD and I'm fucking weird. So we all have our challenges, and it is what it is. Okay. Yes, I count my fries, Antonio. God damn it. So yeah, guys, got a show 8:30. I am so sleepy. I got a show at 8:30. Everybody who joined us, thank you. Debo, tell these folks where they can find you.
All day, you guys can find me at Debo Vibes on YouTube. You can find me at Debo Vibes at TikTok. The real Debo Vibes on Instagram. Doing a lot of foodie stuff. I'm a foodie, doing some foodie videos. So if you like food, if you like the Falcons, like the Braves, like the Hawks, etc., come check your boy out. But definitely on the food side, let's get it. I'm about to eat good. I'm gonna show y'all all the adventures I'm doing with the food side. So check your boy out, man. I definitely appreciate it.
That's what's up. Jordan, tell these folks where they can find you.
Ultegacy, you're a little tired because I already mentioned this.
Yeah, he said like a couple minutes ago. He said that, bro. Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, man. Hey,
it's okay, T-Wil. You're doing your marathon right now. The T-Wil marathon, bro. It's all good.
Hey, my man.
I'm a part of history right now. You're in the marathon. I'm part of what you're doing. What you doing is history. I'm a part of it. Are you kidding me?
Oh shit.
You ain't got to apologize for nothing, bro. I'm excited about this. Oh, how long did T-Wil go?
I'm laughing because I'm probably about to ask Jordan, tell these folks where you're from again. Like your granddaddy. Like, oh shit, I told you that story already. Anyway, Jordan, thank you for joining us. Debo, thank you for joining us. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for joining us. We do this for you. We do this because of you. We could not do this without you. I want to thank you. I want to thank God for allowing me to be here. Obviously, I want to thank Mr. Jack Spade and Eric Parker for giving me my shot in this business. Guys, Debo, I'll see you Tuesday. Jordan, I'll see you next Friday. You guys have a good one. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.